All right, guys. This is my first YouTube video. We're going to screen record a little bit of research here on the new Pope. Um, Name is Robert Prevost, Pope Leo the 14th. XIV is Leo because he's the 14th Leo Pope. So I'm making and uploading this video because I've seen a lot of red flags that nobody's addressing, really. The biggest one being something I'd like to talk to Pope Leo himself and ask him. How is it that one of the most anointed saints in the Catholic Church, Saint Malachy, had the famous prophecy that of each of the popes, he prophesied each pope, um, I think for 111 straight popes or something like that. And then after Pope, the most recent Pope that died, Leo's predecessor, there wasn't supposed to be another Pope, according to that prophecy. So I'd like to ask Pope Leo, is the entire prophecy a fallacy now at this point? Was it all a false prophecy? Or is Saint Malachy right? And this Leo guy is not actually a rightful pope to the church. The biggest red flag is that right there. Another one being he just made cardinal in 2023, sorry, is when he just made cardinal, which you have to be cardinal to be eligible to become a pope. That seems like a very quick rise to the top to me. That leads me into my next red flag. He is the first American pope from the United States. And he happens to be from one of the most corrupt cities in our country. Leadership in Chicago has been pretty awful since about 2016. And that would be his hometown. Pope Leo, from one of the most dangerous cities to go into in America. Born in Chicago, Illinois, sorry. He was ordained as a priest for the Order of St. Augustine. Now, if you don't know about the Order of St. Augustine, a little bit of history. This was the order that Augustine of Hippo, it is based on him and his views and the Rule of St. Augustine, which is written in the year 400, a brief document divided into 8 chapters, serves as an outline for religious life lived in community. It is the oldest monastic rule in the Western Church. Now, one of the things about Augustine of Hippo that he brought to the Catholic Church would be his view on war. This is another red flag because this guy's life work was to justify going to war and to create a standard of how to act during war when you're in battle. What's right to do, what's wrong to do in battle. I assume this guy is the original creator of war crimes, the decider of what is a war crime and what is not. I would imagine comes back to this guy, because if we can find it here, we can find his view on war. He did a lot to make the church feel like they can justly go to war. War is never acceptable. So that's going to be the first red flag with this whole order. All right, here it is. Just war. Augustine asserted Christians should be pacifists as a personal philosophical stance. However, peacefulness in the face of a grave wrong that could only be stopped by violence would be sin. Defense of oneself or others could be a necessity, especially when authorized by a legitimate authority. While not breaking down the conditions necessary for war to be just, Augustine coined the phrase in his work, The City of God. In essence, the pursuit of peace must include the option of fighting for its long-term preservation. No problems with that. Have your sword, but keep it sheathed. Have your army, but don't send them out. Such a war could not be preemptive, but defensive to restore peace. Centuries later, used by the authority of Augustine's arguments in an attempt to define the conditions under which war could be just. The just war theory, also known as a tradition of military ethics that aims to ensure that a war is morally justifiable. That in itself is a fallacy. War can never be morally justifiable. There is no situation where the creator of everything, our Father, wants you to go hurt or kill any of your brothers or sisters, any of his other children. So through a series of criteria, we can make a morally justifiable war, all of which must be met. All the criteria must be met for a war to be considered just. It has been studied by military leaders, theologians, ethicists, and policymakers. The criteria are split into two groups: the right to go to war and the right conduct in war. The first group of criteria concerns the morality of going to war, and the second group of criteria concerns the moral conduct within war. Here it is. This is my stance. I would be an opponent of the just war theory, proposing that there has never been nor can there ever be a justifiable basis for war, or they may be inclined towards a more permissive nationalist standard, proposing that a war need only to serve a nation's interests to be justifiable. In many cases, philosophers state the individuals do not need to be plagued by a guilty conscience if they are required to fight. A new philosopher, a new philosophers ennoble the virtues of the soldier, while they also declare their apprehensions for war itself. Now, the reason this is so alarming, the just war theory, trying to normalize and make killing God's children normal and okay. I understand that we need a military, but to send them outside of our borders to get involved in other countries' wars, it's just not right. It's not just. It's not a good idea. No war in history was ever a good idea. But the reason why this is also alarming is because he's from a military family. His father was in the Navy, and he's got brothers. He's got two brothers, one of which I know was in the military, and they've all been involved in war. And I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but I would say they did some despicable things during war. And Pope Leo himself was not a soldier, but he's clearly okay with the idea of war. And he believes in some cases it is just. So what? That's the third or fourth red flag we've got today already. I would like to look into the 13 other Leos because he's Leo the 14th. I would like to look into the other 13 Leos, but we don't have time today. That can be a whole separate video if this one does well. I do know that the Leo before him was in the 1800s and was an advocate, I guess, for just the United States. He was a fan of the United States, which isn't a bad thing. But there's some symmetry there because this Leo is from the United States. And again, I don't want to get into that Pope Leo the 13th. We can look at him at a later date. Just know that there is some symmetry there. And I'd also like to look at the very first Pope Leo, because we know that there's already symmetry, all kinds of coincidences with this guy. So Robert Francis Prevost was born in 1955. He's 69 at Mercy Hospital. He was born to his mother, Mildred Prevost, and his father, Louis Prevost, was a United States Navy veteran of World War II. And superintendent of Brookwood School District in Glenwood. So he's a superintendent of an Illinois school system, which we know is not great. America's school system as a whole has not been great. as someone who went through 12 years of it, I can confirm that they're not teaching us anything useful to become a free thinking, critical thinking adult. The school system in America creates workers, almost like they wanted a race, an entire country of workers. So they didn't teach us anything on important on how to make your money work for you or anything that we've actually used now in adulthood. Except, of course, how to read. So we've got a father that's a World War II veteran. We've got a mother from Louisiana. And let's see about the brothers. So he was elected prior general, which is an ecclesiastic title for a superior in some religious orders. He was the prior general of the St. Augustine from 2011 to 2013. Now, here, this is interesting. During his tenure, complaints of abuse against minors were made against Richard McGrath. This guy we can look into in another video as well. He was a former president of Providence Catholic High School. And he was removed in 2017 following a child pornography investigation. A $2 million settlement was reached in 2018 between the Diocese of Joliet and a former student who alleged rape by McGrath. From 2013 to 2014, Prevost served as director of formation of the covenant. This guy has just been receiving leadership titles since 2013. He's had the quickest rise to the top probably than any other pope. It's unprecedented what's happening, obviously. He's the first pope outside of St. Malachy's Prophecy of Popes. He's the first pope from America. I'd like to hear him explain that. Is it St. Malachy that's wrong? Was the prophecy wrong? Or was the prophecy right and this guy is not really a pope? If you don't know about the St. Malachy prophecy, he prophesied every pope for 111 straight popes, or 113, I forget. He prophesied every pope correctly, and after the passing of Pope Leo's predecessor, all he wrote was Judgment Day. So I would really like to talk to Leo, get his thoughts on this, but I'm just a normal guy. So there's a weird investigation there. Settlement came. The guy was removed from his position. And that's all we have on that. Now, if we scroll down, we can find more scandals. So in 2023, he was appointed prefect of the dicastery for bishops, formerly known as the Congregation for Bishops. It's the Department of the Roman Curia of Catholic Church that oversees the selection of most new bishops. Okay, so he receives this title in 2023. Same year, he receives title of cardinal. This sets him up nicely to be pope in 2025 after just 2 years as a cardinal. Also unprecedented. Being an ally of Pope Francis doesn't bode well to me either. If you don't know much about Pope Francis, just go watch his interviews, his stance on things. He leans left on most. He leaned left on most topics. Prevost does have one redeeming quality. He's pro-life. I think that should just be a given to even be in the Catholic Church. But kudos to him for standing up to that, to abortion and all that. This channel's stance is pro-life. So let's go ahead and get that out of the way, YouTube. If you want to delete this video, we'll go ahead and just let it be known we are pro-life here. Social and political issues. Prevost is seen as a moderate centrist. That's not bad, but that's not good either. If you're in the center, you're not really standing for anything. And if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. So you kind of have to pick a side. LGBTQ as Bishop of Chiclayo, which is just another title that he had. He has had so many titles. Prevost opposed gender ideology, okay, great, in Peruvian school curricula, stating it promotes genders that don't exist. I pray for this man. I pray for his continued wisdom and leadership. In 2012, he criticized popular culture's sympathy for the homosexual lifestyle and same-sex families. Prevost expressed reservations about sympathy for beliefs and practices that contradict the gospel, and did not fully endorse nor reject Fiducia Supplicans, which is a 2023 declaration on Catholic doctrine that allows Catholic priests to bless couples who are not married, according to church teaching, including same-sex couples. A doctrinal declaration concerning blessings for people in same-sex relationships. So he did not fully endorse that, nor did he reject it. Big red flag again. He stated that National Bishops' Conference should interpret and apply such directives in their local contexts, given cultural differences. Climate change. Still talking about this. Prevost advocated for stronger church action against climate change. Okay, so at the very least, he's uninformed, because this is a theory. Climate change is a theory. He says dominion over nature should not be tyrannical. Agreed. But we don't we don't have solid proof that this is real. We can get into that in another video as well. But if you're a climate change junkie, this probably just isn't the YouTube channel for you. We're past that. We're past the moon landing. We're kind of past some of the nonsense. Communication and social media, personal life, we can get into that in a minute. I would like to find the other two women who had an issue with sexual assault that Pope Leo here had a chance to do something about and did nothing. He claimed to have a legitimate investigation going, and the victims felt that that was false. So I'd like to get proof of that for you guys, and maybe we'll have to go into that in a different video because I don't have a video editor yet, so I won't be revealing my face. I can tell you I'm your host. My name's Brandon. That's about all I can tell you right now. I'll do a face reveal if people are interested in this kind of content, and we'll dive deeper into this guy if it's what people want me to do. For now, this is really all I have time for. I just wanted to shed a little bit of light on the red flags. I'll admit I need to investigate deeper. This guy was just elected yesterday. It is May 9th today, 2025. So I've had almost no time to look into this guy. You're kind of getting all the information I have right now, in my opinions right now. And I know I'm going to have to get a lot better at this YouTube thing, but for now, this is what I wanted to share. As someone, a true follower of Jesus Christ, and someone with a lot of faith, my faith is very strong. I can see issues. I can see problems. I can see things I don't like. We can go to his Twitter. There's been a lot of controversy here too. If we go back years, if we go back some time, I have been told that you can find, well, I heard from Charlie Kirk actually that he had some less than desirable tweets about some things, but that we can also get into in another video. Or you can just go watch Charlie Kirk. He's much smarter than I am, much more sophisticated. And this is kind of what he does. However, he has to stay safe on the things he says. I need to filter the things that come out of my mouth. So look into it. Look into the things that we've talked about. Comment. Let me know. Let me know if I'm wrong, if I'm on the wrong track here, if I have the wrong idea about this guy. I want to like him. I pray for him. I pray that he's the best pope we've ever had. But I'm personally not convinced. So with that, I'll leave you guys. Let me know if you want more. And either way, we're going to keep diving in. We're going to keep searching for the truth. We're going to keep looking at this guy. We're not going to take our eyes off him. So follow along with me if you want, and repent, believe in the gospel. Amen.